Thank you, Dean Cogram. Dean Cogram, esteemed faculty and administration, graduates, families, friends, and other distinguished guests. As a proud Thunderbird alumna, I am so thrilled to be here with you today, and a little bit nervous. I'm thrilled and humbled to share this auspicious moment with you. Nervous, well, because I do a lot of public speaking, but it's really not my thing. However, having a conversation with old and new friends, that I can do. So think of our time together this afternoon, not as me being some kind of oracle or fountain of knowledge, but rather as a conversation that we'd be having over big cups of chai or several glasses of wine. Things that I would have liked someone to tell me as a new graduate. So, how did I get to Thunderbird, and where exactly am I from? This is a question that many T-Birds can stumble over. Let me give you a bit of context before I dive into the ideas that I want to share with you today. I was born in a small town in Assam at the very northeast tip of India. I was born in the same town where my mother was born. My parents are from two very different parts of India, each of them speaking multiple languages, where English and some version of Hindi were the shared languages. My parents worked hard, and they moved around a lot for work. By the time I was 16 years old, I had lived in 5 countries throughout Asia, Europe, and the US. I ended up graduating from a small high school in Paris and moving to one of the largest universities on the East Coast in the US. I was pretty naive, didn't know much about anything about Americans, and I was 16 years old. There was a lot of fun to be had. Many, many, many mistakes. Some near misses, but lots of opportunities to learn and grow. I knew I wanted to be in science, but I wasn't sure exactly what. Maybe a doctor, because hey, isn't that what all good Indians aspire to be? I ended up doing a Master of Science in Biochemical Engineering and went into cancer research. I liked being a scientist. After a few years, I realized, though, that the lab was not my calling. I loved science and innovation, but was really frustrated by the lack of application into the real world. I wanted to make an impact in the world outside of the lab, but I really didn't know much about anything related to policy, to commerce, to how companies made decisions, or really anything outside of a lab. I wanted to be the bridge between science and business. I came to Thunderbird to learn how to make that leap, to learn the language of the dark side of business. And for the last 20 or so years, I have been living in a few European countries. For context, my husband and I moved to France when Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California. So, who am I? Where am I from? I'm a proud global immigrant, a citizen of the world. When I arrived at Thunderbird, I had very limited business skills, meaning I had no clue what purchasing power of parity meant. What about vertical integration? Or how about, what's the difference between an S corporation and a C corporation? Accounting class made me physically ill. What is this thing, activity-based costing? Meanwhile, the math classes were a breeze, having survived thermodynamics for biochemistry and multivariable calculus in my science programs. I have incredibly fond memories of my time at Thunderbird. Late night study sessions, way too late night house and dorm parties, incredible lifelong friendships, surviving exams and commiserating over a beer at the pub, crazy spontaneous road trips, wonderful monsoon rainstorms, driving with oven mitts on in the summer months. I even met the love of my life here, the husband that I referred to earlier, same guy, luckily. And he is out in the audience today, cheering me on, as he always has, for 25 years going strong. From Thunderbird, I went to Big Pharma, into all kinds of therapeutic areas, then into biotech and healthcare. I dipped my toe in the tech bubble in San Francisco, spent years in infectious diseases and global health equity, was a part of the pioneering of precision medicine and cancer diagnostics, and now at one of the largest life science and healthcare companies serving science. My experience at Thunderbird helped make all this possible. And I would be remiss to not honor my parents, their hard work, their love and support, which have helped me to get to where I am today. Okay, some of you are looking at me thinking, wow, she has it all figured out. She knew exactly what she wanted, and she went and did it. Some of you are not. Fair enough. I can tell you that it was not a linear path. There were many detours, many failures, some of them really difficult to accept, others a blessing in disguise, but I learned from all of them. There was lots of hard work, a healthy dose of luck, lots of risk-taking, albeit more calculated the older I got. As with all our experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, they are the fabric of who we are. Some of you are sitting out there with a solid plan. Some of you have a great job offer. Some of you have no job offers. Some of you have an idea of what you want to do, but no clue how to get there. So you are all trying to figure out how to kickstart this postmaster's career of yours. If you are sitting there and you see some hills to climb, or are you experiencing some zigs and some zags, that's okay. That's part of the trip. This is a school of risk takers. Thunderbird attracts a certain profile. Specific characteristics gravitate here. This is why we stay a Thunderbird family years after graduating from the school. Okay, let's frame the moment right now. The world is on fire. There are fires, there are floods, there's an immigration crisis, there's climate change. We just got out of a pandemic and there's the ever-looming risk of the next one. There's food shortages, there's war, there's hate. Nobody is going to say that this is the best of times. So should we just pack up and go home? Is this all doom and gloom? Well, I think at any time in history, we could say that things were difficult. Anyone here heard of the Depression? How about World War II? In the 50s, there were nuclear bomb tests very near here. What about the Korean War? Vietnam? The oil crisis? The Iraq War changed the entire narrative of the Middle East and the world. The financial crisis, and these are just US-oriented. We haven't even started talking about the multiple currency collapses in Argentina, the Thai baht, the Russian ruble crisis, partition and the consequences thereafter, genocide in Rwanda. The world has always been challenging. The world did not give up. We are not going to give up. We can all make an impact. We all have a role to play in making this a better world. So what can we do? What can you do? You can invest your time and abilities deliberately. The world is so much more global than when I left Thunderbird. A big difference is the immediacy of media and the access we have to information today, unfortunately real and fake. As a result, our actions have far-reaching consequences. The so-called butterfly effect has now become a condor effect. We are a more interconnected world today than ever before, for better or worse. What I see in front of me today are a group of international students who are globally minded with an array of talent, of skills, and language abilities. You can make an impact. So how do we do this? I have some ideas and advice to share to help you navigate your next adventures. Okay, one of the first things to do is just have a plan, a directional plan, with some key milestones, 1 to 2 years, 5 to 10 years. Once you have that plan, be ready to adapt and adjust. For me, I knew what drove me and energized me was being the bridge between science and business. So in all the in-betweens of these time milestones, I was open to opportunity, to pivoting to something that I had never even thought about, that just popped up and took me in the general direction of where I was going. Seize those opportunities. Take that chance. This leads us into talking about luck. You have to be open to luck. More importantly, you have to be in a position to be lucky. Luck isn't always packaged the way that you would like it to be. It's not always the senior director position with paid housing in Monaco and Formula One tickets. Sometimes it's the job in the middle of nowhere where you don't know anybody and possibly don't speak the local language. If it gives you experience, access to a network, opportunity for mentoring, exposure to different ways of thinking, and falls into your plan, then do it. Next, I would like to tell you that perspective and context are almost everything. Most of us here are globally minded individuals who have a more nuanced view of the world, its region, and its cultures. I can tell you that most likely in your next job, that will not be the case with many of your coworkers and counterparties. Sure, we're in a time where information can be accessed and consumed immediately, but a lot of it is fake, partial, or manipulated to present a bias. It's really important for you to consider what you're reading, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. Be well informed, especially when you're making decisions that impact you or others around you. You have certain reference points that others don't, and vice versa. Perspective allows you to feel more centered and more confident that you are getting a fuller, richer, more nuanced view of the situation or information. Perspective and context will help you to be more empathetic, and that is a key behavior in cross-cultural communication. Next, authenticity. I think most of us would like more of this in our lives. But what does that mean when you're starting your career? You may not really know yet who you are or who you want to be as a professional. You may also not know what image you are projecting. You may be unintentionally emulating something that you really don't want to be. Authenticity is incredibly powerful, helping build all the intangible connections amongst people. Be yourself, be genuine, but also make sure you remain respectful, clear, and that your intention has the desired impact. Have the confidence to know who you are, who you want to be, how you are communicating. Be yourself. And if that's not such a good thing, then get yourself some help and surround yourself with some good people. Next, get better at decision making. Look, innovation and creativity can be very sexy, but decision-making is what makes things happen. It needs to be disciplined. The process needs to be robust. I categorize things into what I know, what I don't know but really need to know, and what I don't know but it can wait. It's not rocket science, but it does take some time to develop the skills to recognize what goes into which category. We often put things in the wrong category. Hone this skill. This will help you be more impactful and efficient. Next, empathy and accountability. This is a motto I use to carry myself as a leader, as a team player, as a person in this world trying to do the right thing. A lot of things can fall under this umbrella. Let me give you a few examples. Really listening to people is like a superpower. You can eliminate noise and hone into the substance of the matter. You can motivate, incentivize, reassure, empower, connect. Look for mutual interest amongst the parties. You can spend just as much time looking for differences as you can commonalities. Look for what brings us together and what we can achieve together. Accountability goes side by side with empathy. Okay, I see where we're all coming from. I see the bridge across the gap between us. Now I need to make sure that it happens, that this wasn't just all talk, that we will do what we said we will do. Okay, let's speak to the ladies now. Looks like there are a lot more women here than at my graduation. That's fantastic. And that is a testament to Dean Kagram and his passion, his commitment, and his partnerships. We've made great strides in advancing equity and opportunities for women. We still have a long ways to go. So ladies, believe in yourself, your training, your experience. You have to be deliberate in your choices. You will most likely be in situations where you have to make trade-offs about your personal life and the timing of other life plans. Set specific goals for yourself. Understand that some of these trade-offs will unfortunately be just for you. Men will not have to consider these difficult decisions. Have purpose and discipline in accomplishing your goals. And I want to underline this last point. Benchmark yourself to the market. Know your worth. Lastly, maybe a little bit of self-awareness for us all. Have a sense of humor in life. Operate with kindness and compassion, especially when you have positions of power and strength. And don't take yourself so seriously. What you can take seriously are your actions and the impact it has on people and the world around you. So, in conclusion, there are special skills in the audience which are not easily found on the market. Lever these skills to make a positive impact, to continue to learn and grow, to be a role model for collaboration and inclusion. Dear graduates, congratulations, you did it. Now, let's go out there and do some more amazing things together. Thank you.